Yeah, I'm good.
Welcome to another episode of Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. I'm Jerry, and Paul and Adam are out currently right now. They're on their way back from two different trips. Hopefully, they'll be able to jump on with us a little bit later when they get home. But I am not alone. I'm joined with the man behind AT Field Cigars, a brand focused on premium, full Dominican cigars that are doing things the right way. We're excited to get into the story, the blends, and everything behind the whole brand. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, man. I
Uh,
appreciate it.
and then you want to just give the listeners and everyone just a quick little rundown on yourself and before we actually get into the brand and everything like that.
Sure, yeah. Um, Name is Antonius Fields. Everybody calls me AT. Um, been in the cigar industry as a brand owner for about 3 years now. I created the blends back in late 2020, early 2021. I have three blends for my core line as of right now. I tried to stay very close to the region that I fell in love with when it comes to tobacco. I've smoked from everywhere across the globe, I would say, as far as different types of tobacco that are out there. But my passion was with the Dominican Republic, and I wanted to do puros for the core line to pay homage to that area.
Yeah. Um, and today we'll talk about the line here in a minute. But today we're smoking, or I'm smoking, and I don't know what you're smoking if you're smoking over there. But
I'm smoking the Maduro as well.
and then when Adam and Paul jump on, we all got the Maduro that we'll talk about in a minute. So we got your intro. So you put your name as the brand. That's big. Not too many newer boutique brands do that. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to. Uh, it's actually kind of crazy because I went back and forth on, what I really wanted the brand name to be. And a friend of mine, he passed away a couple months back. Uh, we were talking, and he was like, "Man, you created this. These are your blends. Like, I hope to one day be able to see something that says the AT Fields on it." And I said, "You know what, man?" I said, if it's no better tribute to some of the lineage that I have within the industry uh, to do it and call it, for myself. Like I say, I didn't really think about it as a kind of a ego thing, I guess you could say. It
That
was just I when I heard that, I was like, that might be the way to go, and um, I've gotten a really good response off of it, uh, and I stuck with it, man.
yeah. The Just real quick, the bands are. Hopefully that'll come through for them. The bands are nice, like that bluish purple.
Hmm.
It just pops, especially with the darker wrapper. Same thing with the Connecticut. Even though it's a lighter wrapper, it pops with there. They're great looking wrappers with that gold, that cream color, and that bluish, well, I don't know, bluish purple. That color is actually supposed to be, but the band pops.
Yeah,
So
when I started smoking cigars when I was 22, so I'm 40, about to be 48 now. So I've been doing this for a while, and I always had uh, an affection for a lot of the really well, from the legacy brands, a lot of their original banding. I really was usually kind of simplistic, but they always had something that really always caught your eye, whether it was on the cigar itself or it was on the box if they used the same branding on the box. So I wanted to do something like that with this, but also kind of modernize it, bring it up, give you a little bit of that uh, gold leaf to it, raised lettering, things of that nature. So it was kind of like a resto mod in a sense.
yeah, really cool. Um, you said you had family ties to tobacco. Did I hear that right?
Yes, sir. Back when I started smoking cigars, I was couldn't figure out for the life of me, like nobody really in my family that I saw smoked cigars. You know, some people smoked cigarettes, some people didn't smoke anything. I was just the only one that I ever knew that really did so. And I was talking with my mom one day, and I said, "Excuse me," and said, "You know, I'm smoking cigars. I really like this." And she was like, "Oh, here we go, cigar, cigar. Well, it could be worse. You could be smoking something else. So I'll take this." And I said, "But I'm like really drawn to it, and I don't really understand why that is because like none of us smoke." And she says, "Well, to be quite honest, smoking is in your DNA." And I said, "Smoking cigar tobacco is in your DNA." And I'm like, "Well, how is that?" She said, "Well, when I was a kid, um, my grandmother, her mother, actually uh, was a strip tobacco getting it ready for production for King Edward Cigar Factory here in Jacksonville. She did that for many, many years. Now we know it as Swisher International. Uh, so kind of once I got that and started learning, you know, about kind of some of the history of here in Jacksonville, more her ties to it, because my tie to her was very brief as a child, and got to learn more about her, and that being a part of, you know, a culture in our family. And I was like a man on fire from that point, man. It was like I really wanted to delve into as much of it as I could, learn as much history and lineage um, of as many regions as I could, and it just everything just kept swinging me back palette wise. No matter where I spoke to this rapper, this binder, this longleaf filler, it was coming out of the Dominican Republic, and from there I just been trying to grow.
What's your I don't know if that came through. The dog's going crazy in there. What's your go-to like flavor profile when smoking a cigar, or what's your like go-to like style? Maduro, Connecticut, Corojo.
It really does depend on the time of day. I'm one of those kind of guys. I can smoke 3 cigars, you know, 4 cigars in a day. If it's in the morning and I'm drinking some coffee, it might be my Connecticut. If it's midday and uh, maybe if I'm, you know, having a decent lunch with, you know, a little bit of a spice profile to it, I may go to my Corojo. Um, if I'm after I've eaten something, you know, at night, you know, a steak or whatever it may be, um, the Maduro always, you know, is always right there. It's hard to always kind of pick one when it's your brand, because I think with the Connecticut line for me, I think it was one that I was very high on, but I wasn't sure how people would, you know, take to it because a lot of people don't necessarily like Connecticut
No.
cigars. They can be kind of bland, depending on, you know, where you're getting it from. So I wanted this to beef up the flavor profile with mine so that, you know, it'll be one of those things kind of like a sleeper car. You know, the car looks good on the outside, but you never knew under that engine it was really rolling. And I think the Connecticut really did that.
Yeah, you
Um,
killed it with that one.
yeah. So it really, yeah, for me, it's all about the time of day. If I'm looking at something blind, I go in there and grab it. If that's what it feels in that moment, that's what I go with.
Yeah, when was that? I don't know, about 2 3 weeks ago when I messaged you about the Connecticut.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I just like, you know what? I want something a little bit lighter. And I know we were having you on within the next couple weeks, so I was like, let me. 'Cause I smoked the Corojo. I don't know, like a week after you told me where I could find them. So I was like, let me try that one first. I knew we were smoking this, and I was like, let me smoke that one so I could say I could smoke all three.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, I wanted something a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, and that one actually really surprised me. It was still that light creaminess that you get from the Connecticut's, but there was a nice like spice profile and a little bit of like chocolatiness in there. Um, and like I said in the message, I'm not too big of a Connecticut fan because a lot of times they are too light, too airy, too um, hot air, cardboard sort of deal. We're in Florida. There's enough of that hot air around here. We don't need to
Mhm.
smoke any more of that. But yeah, that one, like I said, had a nice little spice profile to it, so it kind of brought a little something different than you get from a lot of different other Connecticut's, and I was real surprised by that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I think with in the key to doing a Connecticut is you have to get a binder that really allows for that flavor profile to come out. Um, I never use any type of short leaf uh, filler. It's always everything is long leaf for me. The reason why is I believe that because you can get the variations in the flavor profiles as a result of that allows for if that binder is really where it needs to be, it allows for you to be able to transition well from first to third. And with that one, I decided to go with a was normally grown in Brazil, but in the factory that I'm using, they actually took the seeds for it, which is a Masafina uh, tobacco, and I actually use that for the binder, and some of the longleaf filler as well. And I think that's what gives you a little
Yeah,
bit more of a little bit of a spice because of its Brazilian origins. But you can get a wider range, I think, of the flavor profile. This a little bit more of the cedar comes out, a little bit more of the creaminess and nuttiness comes out of it. You still get some good, low subtle earth tones with it, but I think those come out more as you smoke it with that
mm-hmm.
particular one.
Yeah. The further you get towards the end of it, yeah, the more that, to me at least, the nuttiness, a little bit of earthiness, and more of that chocolatey cocoa note came out,
Yeah,
and like that same cedar wood, um, like creaminess was definitely stayed throughout. But then the longer you got into it, the more it evolved, like you said. Um, I had fun with that one. But yeah, let's get into the. Since we've been talking about them, not really touched about them. You want to walk us through your lineup and the blends?
yeah, yeah. Like I said, everything is full Dominican Puro. I also decided to uh, only use tobacco that was aged 10 years per blend because I wanted it to be able to pair with whatever it is that you might want to pair with it, whether it be a finely aged wine or a finely aged spirit. I'm a person myself that I like 12-year-old Scotch whiskey bourbons. So I wanted something to be able to, no matter where you are in that journey, when it comes to trying different blends or whatever your preference may be when it comes to a blend, to kind of stay there. So we went with uh, a Connecticut for the Connecticut blend. We went with a proprietary Connecticut, uh, U.S. Connecticut, Pennsylvania Connecticut, I guess you could say, that actually is grown in the Dominican Republic uh, for the wrapper. The binder and filler are both a combination of that same wrapper component, plus you add in the Montefina for the a combination of the binder and filler for that one to keep it smooth, to keep it mild, um, but also to get the flavor variations as you go from first to third. With the Corojo, it is a true Corojo where you can actually, some people will, because they're in the same flavor, the same umbrella, I guess you could say, as far as the wrapper hue um, of Habano. But this one is a true Corojo through and through. That one, I was like, it's right here in the middle. What better way to say if you like spice, more of a cinnamon kind of
Mm-hmm.
sweetness that you'll get to it. If you like a dried fruit, if you like a little bit of the start to be a little bit creamy, I wanted that one to be right there in the center, so that if you need an everyday smoke, to me that's one that I think what people could do
Oh yeah.
um, every day, all day, and being that rotation. So I stayed very, very true to that one. With the Maduro, again, a proprietary uh, Maduro wrapper that we use for that. With that one, the long leaf was uh, and the and the binder were a Lajero binder. That one for me, the construction had to be not necessarily the best of the three, I guess you could say. But when you do a Maduro, because of the aging process and the amount of uh, as it starts to burn, a lot of times, depending on the reason that you're getting it from, it can fizzle out sometimes.
Mhm.
You can get some of the sweetness in the wrapper, but if you're a retro haler, you may not necessarily get a lot of the flavor tones that'll come through. And I needed to have a binder that would do just that. It would bind those long filler tobaccos together to mold so that with that particular cigar, I think you would get at least four different flavor profiles that you'll see that'll come through. So you'll get um, the leathery notes. You'll get this. You'll get a little bit of the dried, little dried fruits, mostly cocoa that you'll get. I think it starts out kind of as a light cocoa, then kind of a dark chocolate as you get to the next third, with a little bit of the along with in that middle third a little white pepper that transitions to a black pepper as you get into the final third of it. So really complex, but ultra smooth. I don't think it, even if it was for someone that was a starter when it comes to smoking cigars. I think because of the the aging process more than
Yeah.
anything else, I think it would allow for even a novice to be able to smoke a Maduro, not be intimidated by it, which they shouldn't be anyway, um, and be able to say, okay, this is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I know when I first started getting into cigars, and I know a lot of people are, they see a darker wrapper, they think it's going to be like a full body, put you on your ass sort of deal. Um, and I've had some Maduros that have done that, and I've had some Habanos and Corojos that have done that, that are
Yes.
a lot lighter than this. And I've had some dark Maduros that were medium, maybe medium plus in body, and great flavor. So far, this one is hitting right around that medium plus for me,
Yep.
which is perfect. That's where I like to stay. And I that's all I was. That's what I was going to say about the flavors. It started out a little bit of like almost like an unsweetened chocolate with some little bit of creaminess.
Yep.
The pepper's just starting to kick in about an inch or so in, um, but it's all very like I don't want to say light, but um, blended well together. Like
Hmm.
it works well together. All the flavors together. Um, and yeah, like you said, this one and the Crow could be an everyday smoke easily.
Yeah. I think so.
Depending on if, like you said, whether you want that spice or if you want a little bit of a darker um, cocoa earthy note to it. Either way, you go.
Yeah. I wanted something that would hit every palate. I wanted something that would allow you to be able to grow your palate as you want on that smoking journey, because everybody's a little different when it comes to it. But I also wanted it to be something that people could say, "Well, man, it was just so smooth that I couldn't put it down. Like it was very balanced, very smooth. You get the different flavor profiles that'll really stand out to you, but nothing that's going to, like I say, put you on your ass. I didn't want that. Not with the core line. I do have some I'm trying. I'm attempting to create right now that I'm going to tell people, hey, this one you might want to make sure that you're at the house to smoke it because this is going to make you go to sleep a little while afterwards.
Yeah,
I want to do one of those like that, strictly from the standpoint of I think it rounds out when you're starting to build a catalog. Um, but those are few and far between if you know how to kind of start off when you're doing your core. You can build off of those things off of it, in my opinion.
yeah. So far, a solid core lineup for those three so far. Um, I would love to see what's coming out in the future, whether they're additions to the lineup or just kind of like a one off thing. Because like I said, so far all three that I've smoked, and I've only gotten about an inch or so in this one, they've all been fantastic. Construction's been fantastic. Flavor profile's been great. Um,
Thank you.
so go talk about that. How involved are you with the blending? Are you going down to the DR and doing that, or are they doing it, kind of sending you?
When it first started, I was getting ready to get out of here and go to the Dominican, go to the factory, and set that up. And then COVID hit, and we were put on that travel ban, couldn't go anywhere. So what I had to do, which I'm glad now, considering some of the things that we have going on, I was able to do it this way in that time frame. Was I had them sending me tobacco leaves, just package them up, send them over, let me go through the whole process that you could go through if you were walking, through the factory, going through the curing houses, and that I had to basically do my own mock version of it here. Makes it a lot harder to kind of make sure that you're sending the notes back of what you're looking for with this. But fortunately for me, I was able to. I work with, in my opinion, one of the greatest master blenders out there, and Dr. Oscar Rodriguez of GTO
Yep.
Cigars. Um, he is very astute when it comes to what I was looking for. He was honestly he was the only person that I had come across at that time that was not willing to just say, "Oh yeah, we'll make your cigar. We'll, if you got a nice, logo you want to put on it, oh, we'll do that for you. Don't worry about anything else." That type of thing. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to be able to. It started with my DNA, with my grandmother stripping tobacco for King Edward Cigar Factory, and I wanted to continue that for myself. And he was the first one that said, "I don't want to make a cigar for you. I want you to make a cigar that you think the world should see." And from that point, everything fell in line. And once I was able to send notes back on, okay, I want this one to look like this, and it's trial and error like anything else. From that point, got some of the finished product samples, brought in, and it all lined up. Everything lined up the way that I wanted. And he even said to me, he was like, before I had gotten the Maduro, uh, he had said to me, "Your thought process on this Maduro, I was happy to see somebody thinking a little bit outside the box when it comes to everybody thinks about the wrapper and not necessarily
Yeah.
everything that goes into it to get to that point." So he was like, I think I know when you smoke this, when you get it, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is right where we want it to be." And he was right. And from there, it was just figuring out what I wanted to call it. I was figuring out what I wanted the bands to look like, and looking at it from that marketing standpoint, and kind of going from there. But it is definitely a process when you can't necessarily be there
Yeah.
to see it, because I'm a process and application type guy. I like to see it from start to finish, and hopefully here soon. Uh, Communication levels it's been wide open, so that helps. But hopefully, I'll be able to actually go and walk through the fields and get my hands dirty. That's where I think I do my best.
Yeah. Every time I hear uh, a brand owner say they want to be in the fields, they want to be the ones touching the tobacco, they got a passion for it. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with it if you want to do it that way. But if you want, call up a blender and just, hey, blend me something so I can stick a label on it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's most likely going to be a good cigar as long as you go through a good blender.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have like your touch on it. Like you knew exactly kind of what you wanted to go for. The other blenders do too. If you're just kind of, hey, blend me something, they're just going to be like, all right, this is what I did. Hope you like it, sort of deal. So when I hear that, or when the three of us hear that that the owners want to be in the field, in the factory, basically as much as they can, we know that it's an owner that knows what they're well, hopefully knows what they're doing. They
Yeah.
enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
And usually when you enjoy what you're doing, you put out some good things.
Yeah. And I think that is the key, because I mean I have run across early on, like I say, I ran across a lot of people that were doing it, kind of, I guess, the traditional way, when it comes to maybe getting with a broker, or if they go, directly to a manufacturer and start talking there. And I think the questions that I asked Dr. Rodriguez early on maybe was the reason why he was more uh, apt to say, "This is yours. Let's build what you want to build." And then you start learning about the lineage of his family
Yeah,
and how long they've been, doing it. I mean, we're at 148 years. They've been, growing and cultivating tobacco. He's a fourth generation. Uh, like, literally in his sleep, this dude can build a cigar that can change everybody's profile. And I
definitely.
think he's still one of the most slept on uh,
Hmm.
manufacturers and blenders out there. Uh, but I was blessed to meet him in early 2020, 2021, and grow a friendship more than anything else. He's been a great mentor. Um, one of the most interesting guys. If you guys have not had him on, I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend.
Nah,
You can look that up.
he's on the short list along with a few other people. Ish
Yeah,
being another one. So yeah, we got a list that we want to talk to, and it's unfortunately, well, depending on how you want to look at it, there's so many great ones out there
yeah,
that we want to get to, and we try to do because we do the whiskey, the beer products, and the cigars. We don't try to we try not to focus on just one. Try to spread
yeah,
it out, and so you get kind of like one or two a month, and it gives you 12, maybe 20, 24 if you do two, and it's just like there's so many more out there.
yeah,
Um, so hopefully this could go on for a couple of years and we could actually get to a bunch of them. But yeah, he's on there, and like I said, Ish and a few other people are, especially these master blenders that are just crazy. They could roll stuff in their sleep that people won't even think about doing, sort of deal.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so did you have the idea of doing aged tobacco like the 10 years to start out, or was that something that just kind of happened?
No, that was my idea
That
from
was
from the jump. Yeah, I didn't want to go anything less than 8 years to start, but like anybody that's a semi gambling man, I'm like, well, can we get 10? Can we get 12? Like, is it an opportunity to do that? And he was like, absolutely. We can definitely do that. You just let me know what you want to do. And I said, just like I told you, I said, I like Johnny Walker Black Label. That's 12-year aged Scotch. If I can get something that's going to pair pretty damn well with that, I'm good to go. I can say, and I think when you do that, it also, from a new blender, I guess you could say, if I can throw myself into that title, new blender, or at least brand owner, I should, more importantly, um, for me, in my opinion, if you are doing this and you're using immature tobacco, which a lot of us in the very beginning, that's where we start, maybe 2 years, 4 years aged. Um, the plant itself, you're good, but the aging process is a totally different monster that a lot of people don't take into the equation of how is it really going to change the flavor profile when you're trying to send something into production. And to be quite honest, it changes it tremendously because it allows for you to be able to lessen the amount of ammonia that normal tobacco will have in it, as well as the level of nicotine that'll come with it. Because nicotine ain't what killing people when it comes to smoking. It's the 10,000 other chemicals that's in a
yeah,
cigarette
yeah.
that kills you. But when you lower, more than anything else, when you lower that level of ammonia that you come out of it, not to be too nerdy or geeky about it, it allows for the flavor profiles to come more to the forefront, even better on a cold draw, not even lit at that point.
Mhm.
So I'm big on that. I believe in, before I smoke something that I've never had, I run it through my fingers, I smell it, I visually look and see what the outer wrapper looks like. I smell at the foot to see where that comes from. And I freak some of my friends out sometimes because I'll be smoking something, they'll be, you know, a couple of feet away from me, and I'm like, oh, you're smoking so and so, and they're like, how the hell did you know that? Like, well,
I can
I'm a
smell it.
tobacco whisperer, dude. I don't know. It comes out, you know, and it's but I'm also 20 plus years into
Yeah.
smoking a whole lot of different things, and there's you know, from legacy brands to boutique brands. Um, Before I was a brand owner, I was a fan. I'm an enthusiast. I wanted to learn, and you have to smoke a lot
Hmm.
and expose yourself to as much as you can to your palate to grow it and mature your palate. And I thought, you know, staying in that 8 to 10 year range would always be something that people could say, if for nothing else, he made sure that the flavor profiles were intact because he was patient enough to use the longer age tobacco to do so.
Yeah, going back to what you said about growing your palate. Paul and Adam started this podcast probably about a month or two before they asked me to jump on, and one of the reasons why I accepted was, first off, I get to drink and smoke cigars weekly or
There you
close to
go.
it, so gives me a reason. Second is um, when COVID hit, like I was one of those. I smoked. I didn't know much about the boutique side, so I smoked a lot of the legacy, the J.C. Newmans, the Drew Estates, those big ones, and still do to this day, but usually lean more towards these boutique ones just because the flavor profiles on them is out of this world compared to some of them. But during COVID, um, I was drinking like the I don't want to say cheaper, but like the Wild Turkey 101, the Buffalo Traces, like the standard stuff. And I
Mhm.
started branching out and trying to find what I like. And unfortunately, I found out that I like a lot of more expensive stuff. And I still drink the Wild Turkeys and the cheap stuff, but I also like that other stuff. And um, I kind of wanted to, like, I started smoking more cigars and started learning about different brands and realized that there's a shit ton out there versus just like the little bit of legacy that you see in most of especially here in Jacksonville. Like a lot of these stores here are just full of legacy, and it's hard
Yeah.
to find the store with the boutique in them. And you get used to seeing the same ones over and over, and that's all I knew about. And I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can find, and whether it's a big name that I've never heard of or someone like you that you live across town.
Yeah.
And I would, if without this podcast, I probably would have never even seen them. I might have seen them at the store and just walked right by them just because I've never heard about them. But I started this podcast, and that was one of the things. I'll go to the liquor store. I go to the humidor, and I'll look, and I'm like, I've smoked. Never smoked that one. Grab it. Never even heard of this one. Grab it. And I'll do a little research in the humidor, depending on um, what I'm actually there for. But yeah, it's for me. This podcast was all about first growing my palate, see what I like, and then second was meeting people like you and other brand owners, whether they're whiskey or cigars or beer products, and just kind of broadening my whole spectrum on all of those. And honestly, we found some fantastic products throughout those three that I probably would have never even looked at. Um, just kind of like, yeah, let's try this guy. And it was like, oh shit, like this is my new favorite. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the best thing is just evolve your palate.
Yeah. I agree. You know, wholeheartedly. Like I said, when you when I saw you on the conference call for TPA, and you said you were in the North Florida area, I'm like, okay, this might be the first person that I've come across that's actually in North Florida. So I'm like, okay, well, what? That's why I reached out. Like, I
Yeah,
think that same night, I was
yeah,
like, where are you in North Florida? You said Jacksonville. I was like, holy shit, this is. I got somebody right here that's in my town that I know has probably never, you
no,
know, had the brand. Like I say, I'm still trying to in the process of trying to win the city. That's why I look at it. I
no.
mean, it's an uphill climb because most of your traditional lounges, you know, as you know here in Jacksonville, they're legacy, legacy, legacy. Um, and I get it.
It's
You
what
have to.
sells.
It's a necessary. It's a necessity, I should say, when it comes to building your brand, building your stock. things people are familiar with. It's just getting them to kind of vary from that somewhat and say, okay, here we have this guy who has a podcast right here in Jacksonville, um, doing good shit. Like we should reach out to him and have him go live right here from a local lounge right here in this
Yeah.
area to give him more exposure and give us more exposure to people that are in a demographic that may not necessarily be just right here in Jacksonville or North Florida, but across the country. That hey, when they come in Jacksonville, they want to come now lounge because they heard he was here doing a podcast, and here we go. Same approach when it comes to cigars. Like I'm a brand owner here in Duval County. Like I wanna win my city,
No.
and one of the ways you do that is you promote for your city in order for them to hopefully catch wind of it, see that you're starting to get traction. Um, One thing that I've learned is, and I learned this from another buddy of mine that's a brand owner, um, Kevin Brown of Conscious Cigars out of Tampa. If you ever get a chance, definitely try his. I know they should have. I want to say he should be in aromas. I would have to check Johnny Cabano to see if he's there, but he is online too. I would say check out Conscious Cigars. It's Conscious with a K. Um, and the one thing that he told me, being basically in the cigar capital of the world, out of Tampa, is I had to go outside of Tampa, make my way there, for people in Tampa to give me a chance here. He said I thought it would have been the opposite,
Yeah.
but that's the way it goes, and I'm kind of finding that out too, which is not a problem. I mean, it's exposure, traction, wherever you can get it, however you can get it, as long as it's good, and you're willing to accept whatever feedback that you get from people, um, is a good thing. It's how you grow. So I hope, from a TPA standpoint, that I can continue to help you guys grow, um, vice versa, and any of the other brands. I'm not a. I know that there's shelf space for everybody if it's
Yeah.
done right. There's exposure rate for everybody if it can be done right. Um, and if whoever tries to kick love to me, I'm gonna try to kick it back to them. So it was as soon as I heard you were from North Florida, man, I was like, I got to get in touch with this guy.
Yeah, when you're up here and someone says North Florida, it's either going to be it's going to be St. Augustine up. Like
Hmm.
it's the people out in the Panhandle say West Florida or Western Florida, or whatever, and then you got Central or whatever you want to call it for Tampa and Orlando, and
Yep.
so when you hear North Florida, it's just like it's somewhere in the area. And then when that's what you said, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to down the road see if we can find a lounge that let us set up shop and do something live there, you
Yeah.
and me, and then see if the other guys want to jump on, um, or if we could plan it out in advance, maybe they could head down. Um,
Sure.
yeah, we'll have to go to the lounge, kind of promote them, promote you again, and especially if you're coming out with some other lines down the road, kind of do a release thing or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be
I probably will start, um, before I do a fourth blend. The way I was kind of looking at it was I think I would try to do a different vitola,
Mhm.
with what I have. Um, I'm always kind of been a stickler for that. I like to see what this Maduro would be like as a robusto, because some people can't take the hour, hour and a half, depending on how you smoke it. But if you do this as a robusto, it might be something that people be like, man, like that was a really good smoke. Now I can see why people have been smoking the Toro so much, or if it was a Gordo or things of that nature. So I think I may go that route first, and then uh, to continue to build traction off the core line. I think too many people jump out, in my opinion, and everybody's different. But in my opinion, I think you can put too many out at one time.
Mhm.
It can be kind of confusing to the consumer, as opposed to maybe doing one to maybe three blends to start off with, really, really building off of that, and then you can, progress to your fourth, your fifth, your sixth
Yeah.
blend, depending on how it is. So everybody's a little different. I don't knock anybody's hustle. Hey, however, if you're successful, with six, seven blends that are out there, or five, six blends that are out there, more power to you. All right, I have no bones about it. Hey, go win, man.
Yeah. No. I know there's brands out there that are a couple years old that have three, four, kind of like yourself. There's some that have five or six or more. And for me, someone just learning about a brand, when they have three or four, it's nice. You can buy like a 3-pack, 4-pack, 5-pack, whatever, and not get overwhelmed. Um, and then if you throw, say, Bamp cigars in there, who have shit like 6 pages worth,
Yeah.
I've luckily ran in. They were one of the brands that I found during COVID, so I've had some. But if someone's just going into them, they don't know. Like it's hard. It's almost daunting to try to figure out where to start because
Mm.
there's so many. Um, Nothing against Ish over there because his shit is amazing and the stuff he can do is unreal. But yeah, if you're new to the brand, it's kind of you're like, where do I start? There's too many to think of, and not saying it's a bad thing, but yeah, I'm going back to the different sizes. You smoke this one in a Toro, then you do it in a Robusto the next night. You get two, I don't want to say completely different profiles, but they'll taste different.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Just
definitely, yeah.
because obviously the it's a smaller cigar, so you're not getting as much filler inside it. Or if you go more of like a um, um, I can't think of the name. The thinner, like a Lancero or a
Lancero, yeah,
Corona.
yeah,
That's the one I
yeah.
was thinking of. Now it's the same, could be the same length, but it's thinner, so you're going to get more of the wrap or the binder versus the filler. So it's always fun, kind of comparing the different sizes with the same blend
Yeah.
and seeing which one. Because I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the thing that I see a Toro and I'm like, that's an hour and a half, seems good, and it's just something I've stuck with. I don't, again, there's no reason behind it. It's just something that I've always done, and it's worked for me. But um, we had Lee from Stolen Thrones on, and
Hmm.
um, we smoked. Well, I was smoking the Crook of the Crown, the fifth anniversary, which is a Corona, and I'm like, kind of like it. So about an hour smoke. Like you don't have to. It's a nice little small one. But and then we've also had, I don't remember which brand it was, but they had like a 6x60 or 6 by like the giant ones, and it just takes forever to smoke.
Gordo, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's fun trying the different blends and different sizes. You pull out different flavors and all that stuff, and you might like the Toro and this Maduro, but you might like a Robusto in the Corojo just because you might get more spice to it or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And it's crazy how that works because I I always think about a cigar in the same standpoint of like a car, a custom car. Um, you can do a lot of one-off stuff on a custom vehicle that will make, you see the original, you see what it looks like, and then you see a custom version, and you're like, oh, that person,
yeah.
they chopped the hood, or they went with a wider stance, put bigger wheels and tires on the back of it, type thing. And to me, cigars are kind of that same thing. Every cigar is a one-off. No matter a premium hand rolled cigar, no matter if the same person is the one that's actually finishing the production side of it when it comes to rolling, it is still a one off
Mhm.
thing. You're always getting something custom when you do that.
Yeah.
And changing something as simple as changing the vitola can give you a totally different flavor profile off of something that you can say, well, I smoked that as a Toro or as a Gordo or a Lancero or Churchill, and I got this, and this in the flavor profile. But when I smoked it, in this robusto, like man, like where I wasn't getting, this I don't know cinnamon flavor or jalapeno type spice to it, I really picked that up more in the robusto than I did the Toro. And I've always enjoyed that. I've always liked to just, and I was always a Toro guy too. I think probably that's where I started
Yeah.
with cigars. It was like the perfect size for the perfect length of smoke that I was looking to do. Um, and then if I was able to find that same cigar in another Vitola, then I would try to just to see how much different it could be. And it's always a good surprise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if it's one that you enjoy, it's always a good surprise.
Yeah, I remember there was one a couple years ago that I smoked it in the Toro, and it was good. It was just, to me, it was missing a little bit of like extra spice or something like that. And then I ended up getting it in a Robusto in a sample pack, and I was like, let me go for it, and it hit perfectly.
Mm.
That spice kicked up a little bit. The taste profile was still there, but that spice ramped up and whatnot, and it's just it could have been just that day, but it hit perfectly with that extra spice on it. So it's always fun experimenting, like I said, with different sizes.
Yeah, because I was never one. Because when you mentioned like the three components that you guys do on the show, which is really cool because I was able to do a show with Ronnie actually about this time last year, before PCA. They had me on the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, and they do a pairing
Mm-hmm.
once a month. They'll do a pairing, and I was able to get paired with a company that was doing a really really nice whiskey that they paired with it, and it's always funny to see from a pairing standpoint the different things that you can pair with a cigar that will bring out something different in someone else's
Yeah,
palate.
yeah,
And I was never necessarily a big beer drinker when it came to smoking cigars. I'm a snob. I wanted scotch or the bourbon and all that kind of good shit. But a guy that I know, um, well, actually I know him now. At the time, he had smoked my Corojo, and I met him at a vendor show, and they were serving Blue Moon as liquor that well, as the beer, one of the beers that they had there. And he reached out to me about a month or so after the vendor show and was like, "Man, I don't know if you drink Blue Moon, but if you do, I would suggest pairing it with your Corojo." And I was like, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He was like, "The citrus from the Blue Moon
mm-hmm.
comes through so potent with the citrus, the dried fruits in your Corojo." He said, I've tried, your Maduro, I've tried the Connecticut. I love them both. He said, but this one, I've had it in rotation with Blue Moon because he was such a big Blue Moon guy. He was like, I was just so shocked on how well it paired with that. And I had never thought about that, really, of the flavor profiles kind of matching because I
Yeah,
think of more my palate being I catch the dry fruits of course, but it pairing with something that's so citrus based like that particular I want to say it's a beer ale, however you want to whatever posing that profile. But it's cool to get that kind of feedback.
yeah. Well, Paul finally got to join us here, and before both of us got into whiskey, we were both heavily into that craft beer scene. So that sounds like something I'll have to get you guys some of the Corojo, and we'll have to do a Blue Moon Corojo episode. Um, I definitely see how that will work out well.
Yeah.
Nice little orangey citrus beer with a nice spicy, well, look, I don't want to say like heavily spiced, but a good spiced cigar.
Yeah.
I think it'll pair well together. Paul, did you find the cigar?
I did. I had it in my hand like 3 times. I didn't realize it was inside that
box.
box that he shipped it in different brand cigar boxes.
Well, the little box that I don't tell USPS, but I'll get the little small, if it fits, it ships boxes, and then I put it in another box so it sells cheaper. And I think I sent the guys like 5 or 6 in that box, and then we reached out to us and got this. And I was like, I need something small. And it just so happens that for a President's Day episode, the cigar we're smoking came in a little box, and it was it was Presidente. So the thing was a damn baseball bat. So I was like, it fits perfectly in there, and it was a nice cardboard box. So I was like, perfect. And so Paul was asking where it was. I was like, it's in that box.
Yeah, and I just got home from a long drive, so was rushing around trying to join you guys. Sorry I'm late.
No, this cigar will definitely help with that drive.
Still got my Cheer Dad shirt on from the cheerleading competition we were at today.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm ready to relax.
Yeah, it's a nice cigar. So just kind of get you caught up. It is all Dominican, 10 years, fantastic. It's really all you got to know.
Yeah. That works for me.
I'll take it.
I was getting the first about inch or so, first third was a little bit of like that unsweetened baker style chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of earthiness and a little bit of nuttiness. And once you start getting past that first inch and almost, I don't know, not even into the second third yet, that just after the first inch, a little bit of spice kicks up, and the spice just keeps ramping up into the second third right now. And it's not like overbearing. It's just nice in the back of the throat. Says you're there. And it's perfect. That burn line is almost straight as an arrow. It's right there. No issue with this construction yet. So you said you like the Johnny Walker. Is there anything else you like to pair with your cigars, or do you have a certain pairing for each one of your cigars?
I didn't really have a particular pairing for each. Like I said, yeah, I do like almost anything in the Johnny Walker line except for Red Label. That is like drinking piss.
Yep.
So I choose not to drink piss. But what I have found is pretty much across the board, 12-year age Black Label does really well with that. The double oak, 12-year age with the Maduro, really spot on. I also like Glenn Levitt, 12 to 15-year age with both the Corojo and the Maduro. Um, I like with the Connecticut, what I've gotten into here a little bit more recently is I like a little bit of a drier red wine with the Connecticut. I didn't think it was going to pair right in the beginning. It was kind of an experiment just to see how it would go, but it actually did really well for me in my palate. I've had quite a few ladies that have reached out that like to have the Connecticut, and they like the Moscatos, the Zippendales. Um, Something might be a little bit more Pinot Noir, things like that nature with it, um, because they can pick up the some of the creaminess that'll come out of the Connecticut's as a result of it. But uh, I don't know if you guys drink monkey shoulder.
Yeah, I've had it.
Yeah, that one's a really good one. Gives a nice pop, nice pop with the Maduro as well.
I can see how a nice malty drink pair well with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm getting just on the first few puffs. There's it's like a toasted oat creaminess to it.
Yeah,
it's really nice. And so something like some kind of maltier whiskey, I think will probably play at least with the beginning of the cigar very nicely.
Yeah.
It just gets better from there.
Yeah, the single malts always seem to match well because you do get kind of like Jay was saying in the beginning, where you get that. Uh, I guess you could say kind of a dry chocolate, or maybe even like a dark chocolate. I guess would probably be a good comparison for it. You get that a lot in the first third for my palate, and I like the way the malts compare with that. And then as you go from second to last third, and you start to pick up a little bit of that pepperiness white pepper, the black pepper, but you get more of the dark cocoa that starts to come out more in that second to last third. It smooths it out, but it doesn't take balance away from whatever spirit you are drinking with it.
No, it's been real good so far, and it just keeps evolving. Uh, Seems like every puff there's something different. So when you're blending, are you gunning for a certain like taste profile, or you using certain leaves too and seeing how that comes out? How's that process going?
Yeah, with these particular blends, and I think that it will kind of evolve as you kind of go from a fourth blend, fifth blend in. But I was kind of looking for something very specific with each. For me, I like with a lighter wrapper. I like a really good earthy tone because so much of the Connecticut brands that you'll find out there, like you said, it feels like you're smoking a lot of air, and you don't get a lot of the you get very small hints of flavor profiles. I wanted it to kind of be up a little bit more. Um, Based on that, when it came to the Corojo side of it, I knew I wanted it to have a little bit of a spice that for some people it may vary for maybe like a mild jalapeno, or for me it was more of a I compared it to like the old school. I played baseball as a kid. We used to do the atomic balls, big top fire atomic ball fireballs. I wanted it to have a little bit of that cinnamon spice to it, not something that was overwhelming, but it was there, but it wasn't going to be like, oh, it's too much. I wanted it to be just enough of that. For a Maduro, Maduro is mature. It has to be rich. If for me, if I'm smoking a Maduro and it doesn't have a very rich exposure level, lots of smoke that comes out of it, um, and it just doesn't dance on the palate well, then I'm gonna take two puffs and I'm gonna throw it out.
Mhm.
I wanted to make sure with the Maduro that every puff, kind of what you're probably seeing right now, but especially when you're going from one third to the second third to the last third, that the flavor profile changes and it only gets richer. I wanted it to be more of a build up, and the only way you can really do that is you kind of have to have specific cocoa notes, or you want to have something that's going to enhance the sweetness, but not be overbearing to it. You want it to give you some balance. So you kind of have to be a little bit more specific on what you want to do uh, between each blend when it comes to that. And I think with my hope is that I was able to accomplish that for everybody that's able to partake in it, because you're not just smoking, and that's the thing that can bury you sometimes as a brand and as a new blender is you want to smoke something that you like to smoke, but you want to make sure that you're throwing something out there to the consumer that allows them to be able to have, hey, that's something I want in my rotation. If I buy a box of that, and I buy a Padron, or I buy a Padermo, or I buy Fuente, or whoever it may be as a legacy brand, I'm not necessarily trying to. It'd be great to take over your humidor, absolutely, but being in your rotation is more important to me.
Mhm.
I want people to be able to say, "Yep, when I just came off the road, traveling a long time, and you need something that's going to basically be able to wind down and calm down with." Yeah, that legacy would be nice, but oh, I got that AT Fields in there. Let me grab one of those. I know that's going to hit right where I need it to.
Yeah. So other than the whole COVID situation, what has been some challenges starting up this brand?
Very easy, money. Very easy question. I appreciate that. This is not a cheap. It's not a cheap thing when you're just a consumer.
Yeah.
So from the standpoint of being a brand owner and having, like I say, every manufacturer is going to be a little bit different. Some will have minimum quantities that you have to be able to do in order to for it to make sense to them to manufacture it for you. So that that plays into it a lot. Then you have a lot of stuff that we have going on with the country right now when it comes to tariffs and getting product here into the country. It does affect us tremendously. I am that's why I root for the other boutique brands because I understand the fight. I understand what the plights can be. Um, my normal trade is I own a commercial cleaning company. I've been in business for 17 years, and when it comes to the economy as a whole, some of the things that they cut back on first is unfortunately in my field. So I have to, be able to uh, combat that as well as you want to make. You can have all the fun you want, in creating these cigars and spending a bunch of money out to do it. But if you can't pay your mortgage, then you're a dumbass. You got to be able to pay your mortgage and all the house bills, and so your wife doesn't, kill you as a result of you trying to live out your passions as well. There's got to be a balance. But that's probably the biggest obstacle I think that you can come across is the financial side of it, and also trying to make sure that you stay relevant when it comes to your level of exposure. Um, I'm not the greatest when it comes to social media. Um, I have a wife that is my best teammate that is good at being able to help me think outside the box when it comes to marketing. Now starting to hopefully get into some more merch this year and expanding off of that just to continue to grow the brand. Um, it's good to have a few people on your side that can help you get the exposure that you're looking for. Um, but also, on the other side of that coin, is being selective with who you share your visions with. Everybody wants to get it out there and have a million followers on social media, but you also got to make sure that at some point those people that know that are on social media are actually becoming fans of the product that's being put out. And I think the product has to speak for itself, no matter what name is on the label. But especially when you created yourself, you want to make sure that I put my stamp on it. I know when somebody lights it up, I tell people all the time, once you light up AT pills, it's a taste of perfection, and it's going to change your life. And that's the approach I take with it.
Are you going to the TPA event in Pensacola this year?
Yes, yeah. I just signed up to do that. I was actually trying to go to Pensacola Cigar Week that they're having
Yeah,
at the first part of May,
yeah.
but fortunately and unfortunately, um, I have had some good sales that have gone out that have depleted a lot of the stock that I have here domestically. So I'm in the process now of trying to basically uh, get some more stock finished to bring in, and it won't be in time to do the first Pensacola event that they're doing there. But with that one being in October, I said I would go ahead and get that one squared away. So I am one of the vendors slated for that. I'm very excited about that.
That should be it. I'm gonna go. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the was it the Thursday night. Um, I'm definitely gonna be there for at least one or both those Friday. What was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday? So I'll be there at least Saturday. I'm gonna
Mhm.
try to be able to get there Friday and Saturday, if not all three. But yeah, it's gonna be a great event. Um, awesome people are gonna be there.
Yeah, it'll be nice to be able to, like I say, we see people, through the conference calls that we do, but to be able to put, to shake a hand,
Yeah,
meet some people in person, um, it's cool. I got to meet a couple people that have followed me on social media when I did Ybor City in December of this past year, and you hear somebody call your name out from like across the road. You're like, who the hell is talking to me? I don't know what that is. And then they come up and you can put the face with the name. That's always a cool experience and um, kind of help you, help you grow more than anything else.
Yeah. You doing Ebor again or no?
It would depend on if I the what I was trying to do was I tried to get in as a vendor right when it said that they were going to be opening up the vendor spots. Well, when they did that, they didn't tell you that all of the vendor spots were already taken. So I literally, when the ball dropped on 2026, I was literally on my laptop trying to get my space, and they were already sold out.
Jeez.
So it kind of was. It pissed me off. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I was like, I would have loved to have had my own space. I have a distributor that I've known for a couple of years now that has a space that allowed me to be with him last year. So I may do that again. It just depends on how things kind of work themselves out. More of my uh, goals right now is to again try to get as many accounts here within the city. Try to do cutting lights, be able to touch the people, face to
Yep.
face, direct that way. But it would be cool. I would love to, if the opportunity is there and I can do it, I would love to do it again. I just really wanted to have my own space,
Mhm.
uh, but this particular year that just didn't work out. So we'll work on 2027, see how it goes.
Um, what lounges are you in Jacksonville or in Florida? I guess.
Right now in Jacksonville, I'm in Aroma Cigar Bar. I'm in Johnny Cubanos. I have a mobile lounge uh, here as well that I've been working with. They just started up a couple months ago.
Uh,
Um, there's a guy's name is uh, Daryl Coggins, and he has oh god, of course my brain just went blank. Um, he does hookah and he just started doing cigars.
right.
I was actually the first uh, brand he reached out to when it came to cigars because he heard I was local and he was like, "Man, I want to get you in because you're right here." So um, I have to pull his name, his the name of his Big Chief. That's what it is, Big Chief
Picture.
Cigar Mobile Cigar Lounge. It came to me just that quick. So I'm with him, and then I'm in Cheney Cigar Lounge in Tampa. I am in His and Hers in Cocoa, Florida. I just got word that Big Fella Mobile Cigar Lounge out of Chicago. They're also opening
Nice.
a second one in Arizona.
Yep.
Um, they'll probably be taking on a couple blends for both lounges in each state. And I'm in Prescott Valley, Arizona as well with Smoke 'em Cigar Lounge there. So I'm still small, but it's just you got to crawl before you walk, man. And I'm just trying to uh, continue to get as much exposure as I can and go from there.
There's a new mobile cigar lounge around here that if they haven't started up, they'll be starting up soon. What's it called? Um, I think it's Emerald Cigar Lounge. Um,
Okay.
buddy Alfred and his wife Jill started it up. So I get you their contact if you want, or I could introduce you guys.
Sure.
Um, they just started it up. It's a nice little mobile lounge with that you can sit inside. They got little couches and stuff in there with a humidor. So yeah, I could definitely set you guys up. If I don't know what their space looks like inside with their humidor, but I could at least get you guys in contact with each other and uh, maybe get you in there.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I'll take all the help I can get, man. I'm not shy about that.
And they're
I'm also looking at uh, Second Wind Cigars. I was talking to Peter Yacob.
yep,
We've been kind of talking back and forth. He's trying to move some stock that he's had for a while before he kind of brings in somebody new. I'm talking to them. I've also been in works with Leaf and Bean in St. Augustine, um, uh, Island Jim. Actually, is the guy who owns that spot. He has a spot there and in Philadelphia. Um, And I've talked to them about the one they have in St. Augustine about going there. They're looking to expand their humidor here, uh, probably within the next month to a year. And the manager over there already said he wanted to bring me in
Nice.
to do that. And yeah, yeah. I mean, it just inch by inch.
So you got to do. You're not. Do you have any online retailers right now, or are you just in those lounges for now?
There's a subscriber a subscription service that's out there called Black Box
Black Box.
Cigar Club. I'm with them, and I think they're actually the one that well, they took two of mine, they put it in two of their in one of their boxes back in July and of last year, and it's been doing very well. So they had the Connecticut and the Corojo. They didn't do the Maduro, and a lot of people have been asking them like, okay, like where's the Maduro? Like we need this in our lives. So I'm like, hopefully I know they'll be reaching out soon to do that. Um, there's a possibility, and I'm gonna speak it into existence. There's a possibility that I will end up in Cigars International here in Jacksonville this year.
Nice.
So
That'll be
if
big.
if that happens, that's kind of like Super Bowl for me. So
Hmm.
I would like to be able to be there, be in their online store, uh, and see how that goes. But that one looks pretty promising.
Yeah, they got a nice little spot out there in the town center.
Yeah.
Nice lounge, good bar there. Huge humidor, obviously. It's Cigars International. Um, I didn't go on their grand opening or whatever they called it. I heard it was crazy, but I went about a week later, and then I've been a few times since just to pick some up and just hang out in the lounge. It's a cool spot. Sometimes they'll have the roll up doors or whatever open and
Hmm.
indoor outdoor. Otherwise, if it's in the summer, they'll have it all down and keep it cool inside. It's a cool spot and it's a great location.
Yeah, yeah, they did very well with that one. Uh, the general manager who opened the store, I've known for quite a few years now. She's great. She's a district manager now, um, and they're trucking along, man.
Yeah.
They're doing really well.
So Paul, what are you drinking on?
So I started out with something that I probably shouldn't have because I poured it before I started smoking. But I moved on once I got the flavor notes off this cigar. Of like my first thing I said, I think it was like oaty. I got like this creamy oat, flavor profile off the beginning. So I grabbed this, which is pairing awesome with it. It's that new Riff Winter Wheat, or the Winter Whiskey, which is made with malted oat and chocolate malt. So it's almost like right there in the same world of that, creamy chocolate oat notes that I'm getting. And I'm starting to get into the second, third down. I'm getting some leathery notes too that are pairing nicely with this one. But I think once I get into that, if that leather kind of keeps on, I started out with this Cedar Ridge barrel proof. And I think some more of those leather notes coming through will actually pair with a higher proof whiskey. So I might go back to that one after this pour. But it's pairing nicely with both.
So, what do you see next for AT and the brand?
Um, just like I say,
Getting into
more,
lounges.
yeah, more getting accounts with the different lounges. Hopefully, um, Lord willing, the to be able to travel to some different areas to get some more exposure across the country. Um, I would, from the blending standpoint, uh, when I started out, I had write ups for basically about 6 to 7 blends. I would my core that I came out with the three, and then about three more that I was like I can hit those, back to back to back, um, to kind of grow the catalog. But I'm really just for now, like I said, I'm trying to stay in mostly in real time and focus on what I have in front of me. and just kind of trying to grow that. I didn't want to overload myself with too many things at once. Like I said, I do like to be able to build out some merch, do some really cool things with that, um, to help grow the brand and giving in a second source of revenue to do the things you need to get done. But I think just getting to the people. I think that's really the biggest thing for me is being on great podcasts like you guys and some other people that are out there, especially those that are in the TPA
Mhm.
as well that are also in the media, reaching out to them and just seeing different demographics and how they can you can get that level of exposure when it comes to that. But I think that's really where I'm at right now. It's just, I mean, that can be boring to some people, but to me, steady is the course, and if you can kind of continue to grow in that fashion. I want it to be a long term thing. I'm not trendy, so I'd rather be able to from 10 years from now, we sit back down here and have another conversation. It'd be like, yeah, you did it the right way, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll whether it's 10 years down the road or if it's next year, 2 3 years,
Mhm.
we'll have to do it at whether it's Second Sight or Cigars International. See if they could let us set up. But like I said, whether it's just me and you and Paul and Adam jump on virtually, or if
Mhm.
they make the trip down for a weekend or something, we can do it all at the lounge. See if we do, because I think that'd be fun. Um, when I
Yeah.
started thinking, when you were saying get it out to the people, there's a good, um, nice little core group of different podcasts that we interact with and listen to. Um, and some cigars have been exchanged. So I think I might be heading over to Johnny's or Roma's here soon, grabbing a couple and sending them out to a couple other shows and getting them in contact with you. I think they'll really enjoy it. Like I said, they've sent some out to us and um, haven't been able to reciprocate the cigars yet to them, but I have some ideas. This is definitely one of them. Um, it'd be cool to listen to you on other shows that we support as well. Smoke and Sounds guys. I don't know if I'm pretty sure they're TPA members, and I don't think they
I think
really.
so. I think so. Yeah.
I don't. They don't jump on the calls, but they're a member. They do a lot with obviously music with the sounds part, but they smoke a lot of boutique as well, and they're great guys. The guy me and Paul just met up with. What was that Friday? Last Friday or this past Friday? Saturday? I don't remember what that Thursday. Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
We went to a Chattanooga whiskey event and met up with Jason from the Dram Amateur. He sent us some cigar sample packs, so they're in a box getting ready to send out to these guys. So maybe I'll send him some to him. He's more of like a spirits podcast, getting more for like the tequilas and rums, but he started out with whiskey, but he's starting to get into the tequila world now too. And he'll smoke cigars here and there, and so yeah, I have some thoughts about sending these out to those guys as well. And I'll help you get out there too, because they'll talk about it. And Jason's up in just north of Atlanta, a couple. I don't know exactly where, but he's north of Atlanta. The other guys are out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So
Okay.
get it outside of the state of Florida, even though I would love
Yes.
to see it in more lounges around here, especially. Well, I would love to see a lounge out in the west side, because there's nothing over here. You got Tobacco Cove right there on 17, but they're more of just like a humidor. They're not really a lounge.
Yeah. I know that, and I haven't gone over there yet. It's called Primo. I think it's Cigar Primo or Primo Cigars, right off of Normandy and Lenox.
Mm,
Uh,
I haven't been
Got
there.
a guy Andrew that used to own Tobacco Galore. Uh, he has transitioned and moved over into that spot. I know that one's there. There's a place right down the street from him called Havana Smokes, which is tied to a liquor store, but and they have an actual cigar lounge there. And a nice, little chill spot that they have there as well. That's going to be that's been there for probably about 6 8 months now. They don't really advertise because they're more known for their liquor store
Yeah.
than anything else. Um, and from what I was told, there's supposed to be one opening over here in the Oak Leaf area, right near right off of the toll road 23.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a uh, little plaza area back there where they just built a Waffle House
Yep.
off that road. They're supposedly building a cigar lounge over in that area that should be
That,
opening up.
that'd be perfect because that's
Yeah,
literally 5-10 minutes that way.
yeah.
It'd be perfect.
So it's right there. It's right here near me as well. Like I said, I'm right in that area too. So, um, and Smokers Abbey is opening up in off of downtown Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I've kind of reached out to them. I haven't gotten a response back yet, but they're still building. So, building out the space. Looks like it's going to be great from what they've shown online. So, I hope to be able to touch
Where's
base with them.
where's that going to be downtown?
It's at the corner of 8th and Main.
There.
It's right there in the corner of 8th and Main. There's a big church that sits
Yeah.
to on the left hand side of where they'll be.
There. Yeah, because I work downtown, so
Hmm.
if I could stop on the way home, that'd be fun too. Make it
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
So, Paul, what are you thinking about it so far?
I'm really enjoying it. The leather is definitely coming through, which I normally enjoy with a little bit of higher proof spirit. So I'm going to pour that up next. But I do have to say, when you mentioned merch, I love the logo, the wrapper, or the label, I should say. But I know what Adam's going to say. Jerry, you probably know now because he's a big UK guy, and you got LSU colors on here. He's just gonna be right off the top hating you until he smokes it because we had the same issue with him last week. We had Carolina blue colors on a wrap or on a label, and he couldn't get out of his head. So he's gonna come in negative. So if you win him over, then you know you've done something.
Yeah, we smoke. I can't remember. I think sorry if I'm wrong, but I think his name's Chris with Carolina Blue Cigars.
Yeah.
He just joined TPA recently.
Yeah.
I met them at the Ybor City last year, and we're trying to get them on, but they had stuff going on and we had stuff, so we're still working some things out. And I was like, I've been wanting to smoke it. It's been sitting there. This one's been hard to not smoke, sitting in the humidor for the last couple months. But I was like, we'll do this the other week, and whenever we get them on, I'll grab some more for you guys. And that's the first thing. He's like, first thing I did was took the band off. He goes, I lit that thing. Like, he lit it up. Like, he's like, screw that Carolina blue color.
He burned the band right on the show because he couldn't look at that color anymore.
But he enjoyed the cigar. He just couldn't look at that baby blue, Carolina blue color, just with wearing his whole Kentucky blue on. There was another one that he's like, yep. It had it was like red and black, and he's like, yep, that's Georgia, and that's Louisville. Like, nope, I'll smoke the cigar. That band's coming off. The SEC fans were crazy.
Yeah, obviously that's all SEC right there.
So, yeah, he's definitely going to enjoy this cigar. Hopefully, he won't see the LSU colors in it, but he might. But the cigar itself.
Just light it, cover his eyes, and draw. He'll be good.
He'll just take that band off and smoke it, and it'll be fun.
That's what I said. Once you win him over from a negative standpoint, then you know you got him.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
But yeah, I mean, just going through this, I mean, it hangs onto an ash, perfect burn line. I haven't had to relight once. Tons of smoke, great draw. I mean, just the construction's fantastic. And then it's ever evolving too. I'm really liking it. It's getting away from that sweet creaminess to kind of more of a drier, leathery, but there's good earthy notes still in there. It's not just a one note all the way through, which I enjoy. So a little bit of spice creeping in, but not like that red peppery spice that you find sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Just enough to complement that drying, leather kind of tannic note that's really nice, especially when enjoyed with spirit. So I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to pretty much keep all the cigars more, and I think you said this earlier, Jerry, medium to medium plus.
Yep.
I wanted the flavor profile to be more full body, but the intensity
Right.
of it, I wanted to be more medium plus, so that, like I say, no matter who's smoking and where they are in that journey, they can enjoy it for each one of the blends. So I think that was the biggest thing was first and foremost, I wanted it to hit everybody's palate. I wanted something for every type of smoker that was out there, and I thought that was the easiest way to do it was to kind of come out with three staples that can be in your rotation. That you know, no matter whether it's you smoke every day or you smoke once a week or whatever it is, it can stay in the rotation.
Yeah, that I think that medium plus profile is like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because you can get people who don't smoke every day. They might be like, "Ooh, this is full flavored," but if they have a full flavor, they're going to be sick. So it hits them where they can still enjoy it, but think it's a full flavor cigar and enjoy it as such. But someone who does smoke every day, if you have like, you know, a mild plus or something like that, it's almost kind of like this doesn't even stand up to the spirit or anything that I'm enjoying with it. I almost need to bring out and enjoy this with coffee or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't do much. Normally, it's with the spirit that I enjoy a cigar. So that medium to medium plus, because medium's great for most people, but a lot of us who smoke every day or multiple times a week want a little bit more than medium. So that I think that medium plus is the wheelhouse. And like you said, targeting that, I think that's genius. And
Yeah.
I think it works for everybody. Introductory might think it's a little full, but won't overwhelm them. And then
Yeah.
the everyday smoker is going to be happy that it's a little past medium, so it works. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to get you the Corojo and the Connecticut as well. Same with Adam. Um, I don't know if I told you guys, but I said it earlier. The Connecticut it's that typical like sandalwood creamy lighter note, but you also get a similar like spice of this, just toned down a little bit, and then some nuttiness came through, some chocolate came through towards the end. It's actually really enjoyable. I can't remember if what I paired it with, or if I was even having anything with it. It might have just been one of those days I came out here just a cigar and one of the seltzer waters that I drink with it. But yeah, it was real nice, and the Corojo was fantastic. Nice spicy cigar. Um, that medium plus again, it's fantastic. I'll have to get you some.
Beautiful.
So you talked about where they can find cigars. Where can they find you on socials and all that good stuff?
I am on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. I don't really do Twitter, uh, but you can just go to Facebook or Instagram, and it's AT Fields Selection um, for Facebook. For Instagram, it's AT Fields Cigar Selection One, the number one, to follow there. I try to post uh, as much as I can. I probably should be doing more, honestly, but I try to do the best I can when it comes to that. You can also go to allthingscigarinfo.com. That's pretty much got the entire spectrum of everything there, pictures, hopefully some videos here soon. I've got to figure out how to do
Yeah.
some uploading of that, but gives you a breakdown for that. Kathy, attorney doing that from TPA was genius.
Yeah,
It does give
that
you a
website
great,
is fantastic.
yeah, it's a great resource and directory. So I no matter where you are, whether it's media, brand owning, brick and mortar, mobile lounge, I really recommend anybody to try to get on there, especially if you're a TPA member, get on there and take advantage of that because you can get a lot of exposure that way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still we have a profile on there. I'm still trying to feel it out, try to figure out what goes where and that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's brand owners like yourself and the Hayes Gray guys and Val over there that have awesome pages, sites, whatever you want to call them. We're trying to work up there to get up there. And then there's a whole like calendar for events and everything, which I thought I put this episode in there, but I guess I never submitted it or something like that. But that's something I want to try to do is, especially with the TPA members that we have on, get on that calendar with the YouTube link. That way people come in. Randy jumped in here earlier and was saying hi. But we were talking. I didn't look down at my phone to see who was actually on YouTube, but I don't know if he's still on or not, but he jumped on. I know a couple of the other members were reposting and sharing and talking about it. So it's a great group of people. And yeah, it's if you're a podcast listening to it or an owner listening here or even a consumer, tpa.rocks. And then you could sign up there, and then the allthingcigars.info, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And you could sign up as a consumer there or a owner, lounge, anybody. And yeah, that's a great thing they thought up over there, because it's just going to be, hopefully soon it'll be like the main central hub for cigars, whether you're owners or podcast or media or lounges or anything like that. There's a lot of good information on that website right now.
Yeah, you don't see many situations where you get a directory that could be so detailed like that in one area. So it might be it's first, especially that are really kind of looking at small business, boutique brands, things of that nature, to help them get the level of exposure out a lot more for them. So yeah, it's been good so far. I think I like the fact that we can support each other. It's okay to support each other. A lot of people don't think that that's a thing, but the one thing about the cigar community is it is just that it's a community, and people have a tendency to even meeting you one time and they're like, man, I really like what you're trying to do. How can I support? And then they actually follow up and support. So that's a big bonus when it comes to groups like that. Because I've been in parts of other groups like that in the past, and that was said that it would be done, but then you don't see it happen. So
yeah. And I'm sure it's like this in the cigar world, but in podcast and media, if like you gotta support each other. Like if it's not for the Cigar Dudes podcast with Randy and them, or the Smoke and Sounds guys, or Dre Amateur with Jason, like if we're not all supporting each other, then it's like, what are we doing? It's just a bunch of dudes just talking on YouTube or a podcast, and no one's paying attention. Like they got their followers, and they'll send their followers over to us. We'll send them over to them, and hopefully soon we could get like a. There's been some talks with a few of us, maybe getting like a big like collab episode or something going on with a few different podcasts, just kind of get out there, because there's people that love one show, whether it's our show or their show, and they don't know about the other one, and they do great things. Like we do a lot of spirits and cigars and beer products. They're doing cigars and music. Jason's doing more of the tequila, rum, a little bit of spirits or whiskey. So, and it honestly, all this stuff goes together. Like
that would be a good idea for you all to do. I think that would be great.
There's been some talks, and honestly, if you look, and any given Wednesday at these Zoom calls, I'd say at least half the guys have beards, or at least a little goatee or mustache or something. And obviously with the tequila, it's all cigars, and not everyone drinks, whether it's whiskey, rum, or anything, but they'll support. So yeah, it's been a fun. We're coming up on our 3 years doing this, and we've definitely exploded a lot more over the last year and a half. But it's been fun meeting a lot of people, and like I said earlier, a lot of brands that we've never even heard of. We would probably never even looked at if it wasn't for the show. Bane Blends, he's out of the Tampa area. We had him on once, tried his product, and he's, at least with me and Paul, definitely top of the list with beer products, along with Matt from Bay Area, who's also from Tampa, and a few other brands. And then we sit down and talk to guys like you or Lee from Stolen Thrones or Sin and Josh from Dissident. And it's a bunch of these brands that we probably would have never even looked at if it wasn't for this. And it sucks because some of these brands are putting out fantastic cigars that, like Haze Gray, they're Pensacola. You're down the street from me. Never would have even seen them in the store.
Yeah.
And honestly, these boutique brands that are with the well, just so happens it's the brands in TPA. They're taking over my humidor, and that was one reason why I was like, I don't care what these guys say. I jumped on there and applied for the membership, and then once I got it, I told them, hey, we're part of it. I was like, if you guys take it up for my humidor, I might as well support you guys because. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I say, I tell anybody, I'm not the most trusting of people. It takes me a while to kind of build up to say, oh, I'm going to reach out, to this person or that person to connect. And it's been a little easier for me. My wife, Dr. Rodriguez, have definitely been like, it's okay, get out there. You gotta give yourself a little bit more exposure. Once people meet you, they're like, yeah, that dude's all right. Let's see how we can help. And I've always been one to reach out to help others as much as I can. So, like I said, doing that collab with all of you all getting together, doing that kind of a big podcast like that, I think it won because of the different genres that all of you all can bring to the table. Would make for such a great sit around, smoke, have a good drink conversation that would just allow for it to be like, dude, we should have been doing this for years, and
they literally like
everybody's getting exposure all at once. You know what I mean? Like that. Like that's what better way to win than to win together in those aspects, especially when you're in the same industry that way.
Yeah.
So
like I said, if it's not for all of us, there's really none of us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and just by listening to podcasts like this and getting on lives, jumping in, listening to people, like, there's been so many times where I've never heard of a cigar brand, whiskey brand, beer product, just in our world. That's kind of three we focus on. But I'll listen to somebody who I've listened to before, and I like their show, and I know, oh, that guy, he likes this whiskey. I like that whiskey. He likes this, and then if he throws out another one, be like, well, hell, I probably like that one too. If he likes it, I've never heard of that small brand from Wisconsin or whatever, but let me get online and see if I can order a bottle, or let me get online and see if I can order a stick. And it's, you start to identify with people you don't know, you have never met. So if we can all come together as a group and just be like, hey, we all are kind of like-minded. We're not bringing on, there's never going to be shit brands that we promote, for lack of a better term. So if you trust one of us, you should trust all of us. And, we'll weed ourselves out. Trust me. If somebody goes big corporate and stuff, they won't be on our show anymore, that kind of thing. And so, I think that's the perfect avenue for, a lot of people to expose themselves, listeners to expose themselves, and us as hosts or podcasters to expose ourselves to new brands just by, getting on chatting, talking about, you were recommended to us by, hell, Jacob from Bain Blends recommended some cigars when he was on last time. We weren't even talking about cigars, and he was on vacation with his wife and came across some cigars. I ordered a bunch of them, sent them out to the guys, and we're gonna have those on the show too, from a very, very little small brand that we would have never heard about. Just stuff like that. It's just, that's the way, almost like a grassroots type of deal to get everybody out there and get everybody, onto some of these lesser known, I use air quotes, but better brands than just what you walk into your Total Wine, aisle or humidor and find, that just pops off the shelf. Because if I had never heard of your brand or another brand, and I walk in there and there's one that I know and I don't know, it's hard to spend the money on the one that you don't know. You spend the money on you do know because you know that one. But if you heard somebody that you listen to a lot or you trust say, no, you should get that, then I'm more willing to try it. And 9 times out of 10, it's better than the one I would have walked out of with because there's more care and there's more love and there's more passion that goes into some smaller boutique, startup craft brands, amongst all products that needs to be explored more. And so, yeah, like I said, whatever that quote is, the rising tides lift all ships. So everybody should just kind of help each other out. I think that works amongst a lot of different, brand products. And I think it certainly does with especially, spirits and tobacco. So we're here for that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100% on that, man. Because you always hear the term, love of the leaf, or love of the spirits, and I think when you bring that commonality to the table, you do see there's always going to be a level of diversity that's going to be there, but the level of camaraderie that comes along with that, of finding out, that your palate, you know, in Philadelphia or Baltimore or New York or Florida matches some guy who lives out in Montana, and you're like, man, like I didn't hear, I've never had that before. They can tell you where to find it, where to go get it, and then now you have that level of commonality, with them, and you just grow off of it. And I think that level of community that I think the cigar, for me, the level of community that cigars has done has brought people into my life that I probably wouldn't normally, what I mean, just have interacted with. But that commonality of the leaf, the commonality of the spirit, draws people in, and you get to meet some of the. I always say my goal with my cigar is I do janitorial work. I want a janitor and the CEO of Fortune 400 company to be smoking cigars on a break, and that guy's like, CEO was like, "Hey, what are you smoking?" "Oh, I'm smoking this guy AT Field Selection." Wait a minute, I've had that cigar before. Where'd you get it from? And all of a sudden, a connection has happened. The CEO and the janitor are talking, and the one thing that brought them together was the love of the leaf. So if that happens, I think part of my goal I've met.
Yeah, that's one thing you always hear is at a lounge. You see obviously the guys in suits and ties. You see guys like us in t-shirts, shorts, sandals, and it always ends up being a conversation. Like, what are you smoking over there? What have you smoked? Or this and that. And it's never about smoking the most expensive or the biggest brand out there. It's just, what do you smoke and what do you like, or why do you like that smoke? And it's always fun hearing different people talk about their palates and what they get out of it, because obviously all of our palates are different. We'll get similar notes, but no one's palate's the same, and that's, I think, why the three of us work well with whiskey. Paul's more of a rye drinker. All of us love rye. Paul's a bigger rye drinker. I'm more of like the weeded fans. Adam's more of like the classic bourbon style, and we just kind of all the palates are completely different. We get to say what works well. Same thing with cigars. Unfortunately, with cigars, we all kind of lean towards the same, whether it's a Nicaraguan or Dominican, like Maduro, medium plus, full flavor. Unfortunately, which works great when we're all talking about it. But at the same time, it'd been nice if Paul liked one style, I liked another, and Adam liked another. We can kind of just argue on the show. Well, we do that anyways, but
there's been a couple that I remember the one that Adam took 2 puffs of and put out because it made him sick. I mean, you loved it.
Yeah, that was
it's a weird one. It was a pipe tobacco cigar.
Yeah, the Stillwell, I think it was Stillwell Star from
Stillwell Star.
Yeah, it has pipe tobacco in it. He took 2 puffs. He's like, I can't do it.
It turned his stomach, and I loved it. Me and Jerry sat and smoked the rest of it. He had to put it out and throw it away, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So there are,
There's
we have some difference of opinion, but yeah, for cigars, we navigate towards kind of the same profile, where we differ a little bit with whiskeys and stuff. But it all comes down to quality. I mean, that's really what it is. It's care of your product, quality of the brand, and it's evident right away when you light a cigar. Like I said, I haven't had to retouch this one. It's burning perfectly straight. It held onto ash. I just tapped it off because I didn't want ash in my lap. But I mean, huge plumes of smoke. I mean, like I said before, the construction of this cigar is fantastic, only rivaled by the notes. So, I mean, you got me as a fan off of one cigar. So, and that's all it takes. That's all
I
it takes.
appreciate it. I do appreciate it, man.
And to mimic what John Aldi says all the time, especially for brands like yourself and these other ones, for the most part, there's no bad cigars. It just doesn't hit your palate right. And for Adam, with that Stillwell start, it was a great cigar. It just didn't hit his palate right.
Yeah.
So
I've had ones like that too. Where you just, my buddy of mine was smoking and was like, "Man, I really love this cigar. I think it might be something that you like." And I tried, and I'm just like, it just doesn't hit right for me. And I'm not going to knock it because it didn't hit right for me. If you love it, then buy it. By all means, support that brand.
And the other thing is,
it's a boutique brand for me, yeah. So
there's another thing. If you don't like the Maduro or whatever, like if someone came to you and said, I don't like your stuff because I don't like the Maduro, try the Corojo. It's a completely different smoke, or the Connecticut or something like that. Which I've done that before. I've picked up cigars out of the humidor and you whether smoked it at the lounge or brought it home to smoke, and I'm like, I don't like it. But then a couple months later, obviously we all have like that brand. Maybe the other stuff isn't as good either. But after a while, I'm like, let me give them a second shot, and I'll try a different brand. I'll look into them and see what the blend was or whatever, and try something different. And this is fantastic. So just because you don't like one of their line doesn't mean that you don't like all of them.
Yeah. So, I got a buddy, and I told this story. I was talking to Dan Ravanelli from a 505 cigar interview, and I got a buddy. He is a Padron smoker. Your birthday, my birthday, Jesus' birthday, that guy smoking Padron, and he's a big critic of anything outside of Padron. And I told him, I said, I'm coming up with this blend. It was a Maduro. I said, I need you to try it. And we've been friends since we were 8 years old. He can be as honest with me, and I can be as honest with him about any and everything. If it's shit, he's gonna tell you that don't ever give me that again. That shit. I never smoke it again. And I told him, I said, I got something. I need you to try it. And he was like, sure you want me to try it? And I'm like, I absolutely sure I want you to try it. And he smoked it and was like, hey man, all I smoke is Padron. I said, I know. He said, every month I go, I got to switch that up now. Now I'm going to buy a box of that a month, and I'm going to switch up and I'm going to buy yours once a month. I knew then if I was able to break a Padron, a devout Padron smoker, into smoking one of my cigars, I thought I had something. And I said, if he likes it, it's one of those things. If certain people like it, or they can identify with it, to the masses is probably gonna get a pretty good, response. And for me, he was my guinea pig. He was my test, and I was able to pass it with him. I said, at least if nobody else smokes it, me and him gonna smoke it. And that was at that time was good enough for me. But he's been, when you can have people that are like that, whether it be cigar, whether it be the spirit that they like. Some people that all they drink is one particular thing. They don't branch out from that because they've fallen so in love with that one, and it fits their palate so well. They stick with it. To get them to branch off into something, that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
So I've moved on to one more pour. I'm approaching the final third, and I saw this bottle staring at me, so I poured up one more pour. And this is probably the best pairing of the night, even better than that new riff, I think. That Penelope cigar blend.
Ooh.
This is a fantastic bottle of whiskey from Penelope. It was it Danny with Penelope and Sin Coburn and then Lee with Stolen Thrones collaborated on putting this bottle together, essentially. And this is their cigar blend, Chapter 1, limited release. A whiskey made to go with cigars. I always get like these weird, like stone fruit to dark fruit notes off that whiskey, and it's going from the whiskey to the cigar. I'm getting dark fruit notes out of the cigar now.
I was just about to say, I'm kind of finishing up, and I couldn't figure it out, but there was definitely some kind of like almost dry, fruity note coming through, but it was still with the spice and that leathery note. It was just kind of like a backbone note. I was sitting here trying to figure out exactly what the fruity note was, but I can't figure it out. But it was kind of a nice little change. Like I said, it's been evolving ever since I lit it up, and that started coming out. So glad someone else tasted that too. It wasn't just me.
No, I started to get it went from leather to I was getting some like weird. I don't want to say weird in a bad way. Weird in a very good way. Like almost like dried dark fruits.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like dried berries or something. Something like not sweet, but not super tannic. But that's when I was looking over what's in front of me and I saw that bottle and I'm like, I know it's made to go with cigars. And I get big fruit notes off this whiskey, so let's try it with the cigar. And hands down, a beautiful pairing. It just goes to show you, they know what they're doing when they made this whiskey. It was meant to go with cigars, and it's going with yours. Fantastic.
Yeah. I did have one, it was a couple of weeks ago, actually. I had a lady that reached out to that I was talking to about the Maduro, and she said, when we talked about dark fruits, she said that it tastes. She got I'm trying to remember what it was, pomegranate. That's what she said. She said it was. She said it wasn't the sweet juice that you get from the pomegranate. It's like when you bite into the core of a pomegranate, the dark richness that you get from it is what she was pulling from it. I had never heard that before. I said, that's. I have heard blood orange though. I have heard that, but I heard that one more towards the Corojo than I did the Maduro. But she said pomegranate. I was like, that's unusual.
No.
I can kind of see pomegranate because there's still that leather note. What I'm saying leather, it might be what I'm getting as a leather, which is like tannic, and I can see kind of that pomegranate when you're getting those seeds off, but there's a little bit of pith on there that's kind of tannic and kind of bitter in a good way, So I can definitely see that, especially with a whiskey that has big like fruit notes for me. I can definitely see that. It's like a dried kind of fruit for me. But yeah, no, it. I started to get hints of it just from the cigar. So pairing the right whiskey to it, it kind of melts it and brings it all together. And then, that just goes to show. I went with a malted oaty chocolate whiskey to just a barrel proof bourbon, just kind of higher proof, to this cigar blend that has big fruit notes on it, paired well with all of them across the board. And then I'm just doing whiskey right now, but I'm sure with other spirits like rum and some brandies and stuff like that, like a nice high proof brandy, especially in this end of the second, early third, would probably be amazing too.
Yeah.
Bring out those fruit notes even more probably. So it's gonna have to restock and play with some different spirits.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just let me know what you want.
Yeah, I was looking at the black box because that seems to be the only way I'm going to be able to get my hands on them unless I reach out for a care package. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was going to say too, I do direct ship. So yeah, I mean, like I said, that is something that you guys, as long as I have it in stock here,
right,
I can ship it out to you directly. That's not a problem.
awesome.
I it's funny because the the dark fruits that I may pick up versus what your palate or someone else palate picks up is so unique, but it's very cool at the same time because I always have to go back to the origins when you pick that kind of stuff up that way, and with um, Tabacalera Rodriguez in Dominican Republic, they're in the Cibola Valley, so it allowed their entire it's 400 acres they've been growing tobacco on, along with it's a 100% vertically integrated uh, farm. So they have chickens, they have cattle, they do the cigars, and when you're pulling all the minerals with no pesticides, anything like that, you don't get the aftertaste. Definitely during the aging process, 10 years, 18 years. With these all 10 years, you get all of that comes out of it. So those dark fruits that come out so rich, depending on which blend that you're smoking, is a testament to its origins.
Mm.
And I always like to let people know that like it makes a difference when there's no pesticides being used to keep bugs and stuff away. It makes a difference when uh, everything that's that's grown and raised on that farm together has that level of synchronicity that's there. God put it all there. We're just using it in the different ways that it was meant to be used without tainting it with any type of chemical of some sort. So you actually do get to see those flavor profiles change, from one third to another as a result of that because of its origins.
You definitely have at least two fans. Hopefully, Adam could look past the band and or the colors of the band, I should say, and enjoy this cigar as much as me and Paul did. Like I said, somehow we'll get the more of these and the Corojo and possibly the Connecticut to the guys too, so they could try those out. I'm still like we're gonna do that Blue Moon and Corojo episode sometime down the road. Blue Moon was like one of my go-tos in college and whatnot, like especially that like nice orangey citrus, especially in Florida being warm 90% of the time. It's a nice refreshing beer.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely have to try that one. Hey, anything else you want to plug or anything like that? I think we've pretty much talked about everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of covered everything. Like I say, definitely, like I say, major shout out and thank you to you guys for allowing me to be on the show. That's definitely a blessing. Um, I'm here to help in any way I can to continue to help and plug and promote for you guys. Um, Shout out to TPA for being the source and the vehicle to help drive this and bring us together. That community um, has been a great blessing to me just getting started, trying to really get the brand out. Uh, Other than that, man, just keep it rolling. Like I say, the the goal now is now that I have the traction, is to just continue to try to build off of it and help others in that process. I mean, anything that I can do to help you guys, please feel free to reach out at any time, any of you guys. I know Adam might have a problem with the band, but he's gonna love the cigars, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, no, there's definitely no chance that he dislikes this cigar once he takes that band off.
Tell him just don't look at it as purplish. Tell him he needs to see that rich blue from Kentucky. In there. And it'll all go away. He don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
It's bad lighting in his garage where he's smoking.
Yeah.
he does smoke in his garage, so it has like that just that old school like speakeasy style yellow lights or whatever. And that's all it is. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what he thinks of the cigar. Hopefully soon. But yeah, I want to say thanks for joining us. Thanks for reaching out in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, once I joined and I was able to get the list of everyone in the TPA, I went through and kind of put check marks next to all the cigar owners and blenders and whatever the actual term is for you guys. And definitely wanted to reach out to a lot of you guys, and you were the first one. So that was awesome. Paul, you got any final things?
Yeah, I think we'll get you back on here in the future with Blue Moon and a nice big orange wheel, and pair up that Corojo. That's what they said goes good with that. And then I know this like kind of grapefruit forward spirit that we might want to try since we're talking about spirits. If you need a sample, we'll send you.
You're shaking your head now. You're going to be shaking your head the other way after.
We'll pair that beauty with one of yours too, and see what comes of it. You know about this?
I haven't heard that one before.
Perfect. That's the answer I want to hear. So we'll send you a sample of that.
One I've heard of, but I've never had.
This is the worst alcohol you'll ever experience in your entire life.
It's supposed to be a Swedish like after dinner. What do they call them? Aperitifs or whatever. Similar to like a Jaeger, but 10 times worse. And they know it. All their advertisement.
Yeah, no, it's dumpster juice. But they promote it as such, and so it's kind of a gimmicky kind of thing. But it does have some fruity notes to it. So hey, it'll be fun. It'll be some fun screenshots of getting everybody's face as we take a sip of it and smoke a cigar together.
It's been a long time since I had Jaeger, and trust me, it was not good back then. And I know it ain't good now.
Jaeger tastes like water compared to this.
Oh God.
I could chug Jaeger, swish it around my mouth, brush my teeth with it before. Yeah. So no, we'll make sure you get a little sample of that before we have you on next time. We'll see if your cigar can cure the ways of my lord.
Oh, if it's that bad, I'll take the challenge. I think it'll be a good challenge.
You got to experience it once in your life, but it's that bad.
No. So I think that does it for another episode of Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. Big shout out and thanks to AT for joining us today and honestly reaching out. It's a great time. Fantastic smoke. I didn't pair it with anything other than some water, but the cigar itself, along with the Corojo that I smoked a couple months ago and the Connecticut within the last couple weeks, they've all been fantastic. So definitely go check them out at his socials, which I'll put the link up again for the ones watching YouTube. If you're listening, you just have to rewind and find where he did it. We'll put them in the descriptions and whatnot as well. And then whenever you release in new lounges or anything like that, and you post it on social, feel free to tag us, collab with us, whatever. We'll help push that out. Whenever you decide to get your new releases out, whenever they're ready, definitely same thing. Tag us, collab with us, whatever you want to do. We'll help push that out because, like I said earlier, at least two of us are big fans, and this is right up Adam's alley. So thank you. Watch out for children and your local, well, not just local, but veterans, first responders, LEOs. World's getting crazy. Some stupid things going on. So definitely want to watch out for those guys. And we tried to do giveaways in the past. I think we're trying to get another one going soon. We'll get something out there whenever we decide to get everything together. And then the TPA event that we talked about earlier, October 1st through 3rd, tickets are on sale now at tpa.rocks. That'll be a great time. AT said he'll be there. I'm going to hopefully be there. There's going to be some other great cigar owners and accessory brands. Actually, we got to meet or talk about the Poke Your Smokes. She's on the TPA. Yes. So I met her at the was at the Orlando Boutique Cigar Festival, and was able to grab one from her. Some of the coolest pokers out there. I used to just take a match and kind of whittle it down to do a poker, and they would break or burn, whatever. These things are pretty sweet. They got it's hard to see behind it, but definitely check her out. She'll be there, I'm pretty sure. And then I think I said everything. Thanks again. Definitely have to do this again. Whether it's, like I said earlier, at a lounge, or we do this again, drink Malort and Blue Moon and smoke the Corojo. We'll have to do it again.
We'll do, man. I'm all for it.